A super thanks to begin today's show from Juan Smith. This came in before the Week 5 matchup, so keep both these super thanks in mind. What if we trade for Gus Edwards? I suspect the Chargers want to keep him because they like to have multiple backs in that stable with what Greg Roman does on offense. J.K. Dobbins has definitely been better so far this year. He'd probably be a better version of Ezekiel Elliott right now since you're kind of using him pretty weirdly, which maybe we'll talk about on a future show. But I wouldn't be mad at it. There's your thunder, but maybe a better power back than what you have in Zeke at this stage in his career. And you can still continuously give playing time to Rico Dowdle. I thought played pretty well against the Steelers, sans that late game, almost back-breaking fumble that happened. Marcus Arnold. Hey, Tom, the 4 that I think I need to play, great for the boys from the next 3 games. Again, this came in before the Sunday night game, was Kneeland, quarterback 2, Turpin, Luepke. Keyword is great, which means their involvement in their case. 5 to 10 big plays apiece. Probably asking for too much for like the fullback and receiver 3 to make 5 or 10 big plays, but they had that number combined. Now, Kneeland going down hurts, obviously. But I thought Amani Oruwariye, who got picked on a lot, stepped up, had a good game against anyone he faced as George Pickens was mentally checked out, which was embarrassing for him. I thought Turpin played well. I thought Luepke played well too. Like, I think that worked out relatively speaking. They stepped up. You throw Tolbert in there? Yeah, now we're talking. There's your 5 to 10 big plays from Tolbert. Now, those questions and comments and thoughts came in via Super Thanks. It is a feature here on YouTube that allows you to donate outside of live videos. Just like a Super Chat on live, it's a Super Thanks on demand. Whatever message you send in, even if it's Tom, you suck, we will give you a shout-out. C.J. DeYoung III, but Mike watched every piece of tape, every play from the Cowboys before he was hired, and Drake Miller's and 8 wings with Jariah. This is in reference to the my video of this isn't working with the Mike McCarthy offense. And then he did a bunch of stuff I asked him to do. Go figure, right? Unfortunately, it takes 5 weeks here for that to happen, but I digress. Yeah, if and when this doesn't work out and he's not invited to return as the Cowboys head coach, everyone's going back and go, yeah, when you're joking there saying, I watched every film, and then he's come out in press and say, I didn't actually. That was the first sign of like, that might not go very well for the Cowboys. That's not something you want to admit publicly, that you lied about watching all the film. Anyway, so far this season, I want you to grade Mike McCarthy. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. From C.J. DeYoung III. So if we play a below-average team, which so far this season all the talking heads claim the Steelers are, and the boys win by 3, how is that an A, B, or even a C? At least last year we crushed the crappy teams. So 2 things here. Number 1, you were not favored in this game. And you are not as good as you were last year. You were a road underdog. And all of those talking heads, every single one of them, minus the one person who avoids the clean sweep, although ESPN did the clean sweep too, they all picked Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has never been called a blowout team. I think their offense is below average. Their defense is the top 5 offense. The Steelers always win 9 games. They never go below 500. They are always an above-average football team, or at least average. So my issue overall is that going into this game, Cowboys underdogs, they're not going to win. Pittsburgh's going to win. Pittsburgh's better. And then as soon as the game ends, Pittsburgh's actually bad. That's my issue. You can't have it both ways. You can't say I'm picking Pittsburgh to win, Dan Orlovsky, and then say, I was unimpressed by that performance. They should have won by a lot more. Well, you didn't pick them to win, and they won. So which is it? Like, I think you have to pick one going into the game. It deserves some credit. That is a road underdog win. That matters. Those are not easy to do in prime time. Toss in the nearly 2-hour delay there. I am giving them at least a C grade. Like, maybe, I think probably higher than the Giants last week, but they won that game on the road in not great conditions as an underdog. That's a good win. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best to get real money sports action. Over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least two players, shots to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks puts its members first, so withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. I'm going to do some college football Prize Picks this week. I will continue to take the more than on Travis Hunter. It's always a good pick. I'll go less than on Will Howard passing yards. I think that could be kind of a run-heavy game for both sides in a kind of Chip Kelly revenge game, by the way. Jordan James, I'll take more than rushing and receiving yards. I think he'll be involved with the way the Buckeyes tend to play some defense there. I do the flex play on this. That way, if I get one wrong, I can still cash out if my lineup isn't perfect. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play 5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. Prize Picks offers with promotions that include the big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select players direction to 25%, provide even more value for your lineups. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use code CLNS to get that $50 instantly when you play 5. Elmatic7 says, go get Haason Reddick now. If you were actually all in, which we know this team is not, that would be the aggressive all-in move that would help you this year. I would be pretty darn surprised if that was a path they chose to go down. It just doesn't strike me as a Cowboys type of move. I don't know if the Jets want to admit the mistake that they made in the trade, and they'll save the money or whatever. Reddick might not admit his mistake. And also, Reddick wants to get paid. Dallas is not going to pay him right now. And frankly, nor should they. Kind of puts you in a weird spot. So will the Cowboys make a trade? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments of today's show. Option Pawar, why did CD disappear in the game? Sometimes adjustments get overblown. But this is back-to-back weeks. They got Lamb involved early and then faded away from him. Again, teams are trying to take him away. I don't blame them for that at all. Now, I think you made enough plays between Ferguson and Tolbert that you're fine. But I would still like to generate some easy stuff. And sometimes it's the progression isn't quite right. He gets open late, or he's bracketed. Somebody else comes open. There was the one throw to Zeke. Remember the play where he ducked? Which I am convinced that Zeke thought that ball was going to Lamb. And maybe it should have even. I think if Zeke catches it, he probably gets more than what Lamb was going to have because everyone's going this way and Zeke's going that way. Just different reads, different progressions. Like the crossing route, that mesh concept, Lamb's like 3 guys on him on the touchdown throw. He's the first read, not there. That gets back to Tolbert. It works. Teams take him away, and they bracket him and do some double-team stuff, but you got to scheme more for him still. Elmatic7. Tolbert benefited from CeeDee's holdout. He's a baller. Turpin has sneaky speed. I think he's outright fast. I don't think he's sneaky. I think he's just fast. He's a weapon, ready to see Flournoy on the outside. Nice young core. He still can get Brooks back or Cooks back at some point. I do think Tolbert's very much benefited. I think that is a big deal. I like using Turpin more. Cut down those Jalen Brooks snaps. I'm fine with that because he got some speed out there. Flournoy played a little bit in that football game. Not a lot, which I think was mostly expected with just how the Cowboys were going to use him in his first ever NFL game. I didn't think it was. I think if we were thinking he was getting 7 targets, that was probably just not ever going to work out there. He played 10 snaps, and a lot of them were run snaps, like blocking snaps. Brooks played a lot more. They rotated receivers pretty heavily. They still outsnapped Turpin versus Brooks, but Brooks also blocked a ton. He had some good blocks, by the way. You get that every week, you'll probably be happy with it. From Carson, what are the Cowboys doing with Zeke? And is he hurt? I saw the shoulder clip. I assume what you're referring to was that pregame clip where, Zeke puts on his shoulder pads and, doesn't, bends awkwardly with his arm. I think there's something up with Zeke's shoulder. I don't know what. It's kind of weird. It's not on the injury report. I feel like it should be. But he even saw it. He had that Band-Aid on his shoulder, which, I mean, he probably got an injection of some type. There probably is some pain or something going on with the shoulder there. As what they're doing, look, I honestly don't get it. I don't, like, they're treating him basically as like the backup to Dowdle, which, okay, but he's not as good as Rico Dowdle is, full stop. I don't get, like, you eventually hype this up as like, hey, he can be our third down pass protection back and can catch some passes and can pass protect and can get short yardage stuff. Well, in that game against Pittsburgh, he ducked under a throw for some unknown reason, which I think he thought was going to land, but still. He whiffed on a pass protection block. Also was against TJ Watt. Bad offensive design. Don't put Zeke on TJ Watt. That's stupid. And then you get a couple different short yardage chances. You do play action on 3rd and 1. You do a toss to Zeke. And then you're in the middle with Rico Dowdle. I don't really get it. I feel like you're not using him properly. Very strange to me. Very strange. From Steven, will we get the same officiating crew we got from last year's game? I hope not. Would be stupid. They were terrible in that game. Everyone made a big deal over the Dan Skipper play. That wasn't even the worst call made in the game. They called a fictional tripping penalty on Peyton Hendershot that would have iced the game. Would have been game over. Never would have gotten to that play. They were terrible. They were terrible. Elijah James, what is the biggest need right now? It's got to be defensive end, right? You're down your 4 best players. And that is, in almost all cases, something you cannot recover from. Now, it's short term for most of them, but still. Now, if you like our Cowboys mailbags, hit that sub button so you can join in on future ones. Free to subscribe, free to watch. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future Dallas Cowboys YouTube videos. Daniel, I would take Travis Etienne for a third in a trade. If you get Etienne, you have to cut Zeke. I would try to do less than a third. Like, I got 4s and 5s. It's running back 2 years. Trade value is typically lower. Tank Bigsby out-snapped him for the first time all season, which was noteworthy. Bigsby busted another big run. I would say that, though, yeah, if you're adding Etienne, you're either going to invent an injury for Deuce Vaughn or I don't need Zeke at that point. So, yeah. Shane Amick, with the win last night, do you trust McCarthy as our head coach? No. And in general, with this Cowboys team, if you still don't believe, I don't disagree. There's still a lot of concerns on this team. I think they can still be a playoff team. I never really wavered in that, despite maybe confidence wavering, but you can still do it. Make it a real run? No. I have to, and even if you win out the rest of the way, I'm not going to leave until they do it in the actual playoffs. So, and that goes for McCarthy, because I still don't trust him with clock management, game management, 2nd and 10 runs, all that stuff. So I know I still have doubts. Absolutely.